Howdy.
I noticed you hung a few things up.
Finally had the opportunity to start a little decorating. Got a welder, got a workbench, got a mini trike.
And dogs.
Dogs, two out of three. Hi. Hi, Shadow.
You guys will see more of the shop inspectors, that's for sure. They
Blue.
like coming to work. Come here, Blue. Say hi to everybody.
Hi. You
We
got
can
some
have
big-
him here at this shop, them at this shop, because if Ian's welding or doing some serious stuff,
Put him in the office.
we got an office, and I'm actually going to get them dog beds in there.
Yep.
You like being at work?
I know. Got some awful big paws to fill. I don't know if you could ever amount to the character that has been shown before. But look at this trick. Ready? Back it up, 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 back it up.
All right. Let's build some stuff. Let's get back to work.
I know. So when we last left off, things were in a jumble. It was a flurry of activity. I could barely remember where we left off. A train passed by our shop today, and now I hear a jet.
I saw the pilots at Subway.
We used to get the jets near our house. Now they're right there. The runway's right there. All right, so where we left off was the rear drive line of this was just starting to come together. So this was just a work in like theory, right? I was like, okay, well, I have some ideas. If you remember when we left off, we had some options for the chain, the jack shaft, etc. All that was working out, but there's still a lot of structure left unattended to. Many comments lent their advice towards this area here. Because if I'm sitting here with my big old self, this join is going to do that. There's nothing to support it. And this first try at the axle setup leaves this very weak also. This piece here can rotate, it can pivot a lot. So I think what I want to do is set this down lower to the table. We're going to check how parallel these axle bolts are, and we're going to reinforce everything. We're going to reinforce these, that, the seating area, the whole kit and caboodle, because nothing. Did I ever tell you my story about when I made my first chopper bicycle?
Something about it fell all apart. The front forks or something.
There's nothing worse. I imagined on my chopper bicycle during the big baseball parade, right? All the kids in middle school, all the baseball teams are lined up. They're marching through town. They're doing the whole thing. I'm like, I ain't playing baseball this year. I'm going to ride my chopper bicycle to the parade. I go to pop a wheelie off the curb in front of everybody. The forks disconnect. I just hate the S word.
Oh my gosh.
I said, one day you're going to be a welder. Here we are. This is not going to break on the test ride.
What are you two doing? Are you playing?
So clean, nobody knows how to act.
I know. We had lunch in the office. So weird. And then look at these two. They're always playing. Always.
So already it looks like this is up a bit. So I have very limited tools, even more limited than I typically have, because I haven't moved everything yet. But this is what I'm going to do. I know I have a square, I'm pretty sure. Sure don't.
Uh-oh.
I'm sure I have something square that I can use as a square. Yes, I have a piece of steel. And that looks about square enough to me. So pretty much this is what we're going to try to do. We're going to set up that bolt right to the old line on the table trick, right? So we're there, we'll check past the threads, are right there. And right here, we'll see we got to come in a little bit. So, yeah, we want these axles to be parallel. So we're using this original piece of steel sheet. When we come to this side, do the same. Yeah, and they are parallel. Cool. But even though they're parallel this way, let's check the height off the table. Got a lot more background noise over here. That's something we weren't expecting.
Say that again?
Got a lot more background noise. Weren't expecting that. We are right at the runway. But they don't fly a lot, so when they're here, they're here. Yep. Next trip, square, ruler. So I'm going to take our very, very technical measuring piece, and right where it hits, and you can't see this on your side, but right where it hits, I'm going to make a little mark. I'm going to follow that down. So yeah, it's higher up at this end by about 1/8 inch. See these two marks? That's here, and then the lower one is here. So this is already up higher. Let's see how that compares with this one. They're both doing approximately the same thing. But they're not resting on the table. The chassis is resting on the table. So that's of interest. Shoot, let's see what we got here.
Do you have to go to Karl's Hardware?
I don't have enough of anything to do this. Yeah, even to mock this up.
What do you need?
All my blocks, all my clamps.
And none of those are here.
No, and I can't reinforce the chassis until I do that.
So Ian is having to get ingenious.
Yeah. All my blocks, you see me with those rubber ones, I got metal ones, I got all kinds of stuff. They're out there in the sand. But I do have these two brake drums. They're the same height. Set these in place. Now we're working. All right, so with these being through the center of the brake drums, if we look, you can see that this one is off, it's up. So they're both doing pretty much the same thing, which is okay. But they're having that kind of squatty look we're trying to avoid. In other words, we want our tires straight up and down like that, and what they're doing already is sort of the Volkswagen thing. Mm-hmm. They're not this dramatic, but they're starting to do that. So we want to put some strength in that and squeeze them so that they are very rigid. They're not going to flex. So if they were the opposite way, when I sat in it, they would get right, but they're wrong. You can fix that. I do have some clamps here. Check. And I got some material here. Yeah, perfect. So this is what I was thinking. And a couple people said the same thing. They said, if you were to take a tube and sleeve this out a little bit, because your rims are outside of that, you could reinforce this and then come below with another cross tube of the same stuff that you're using on the chassis. That would create that truss. It would create a bridge across. So we could set that up, and then we can clamp these down, straighten them, and weld it all up. That's my plan. Sticking to it.
Sounds like a great idea.
Look at these two.
I know. They love each other. It's so cute. Get ready for doggy spam. Everybody was wondering about the shop inspectors. Here they are. Always. Always kissing.
I don't have anything to measure with. Just go to the hardware store. I'll get a drill bit and a tape measure and we're good.
What did you say? You're going to go to Karl's?
Yeah. I mean, one of the treasures of hobby, aside from the eateries, Karl's hardware.
For
Has
the
everything.
win.
Karl's hardware for the win. Because they build spaceships here, Karl's hardware has everything, including spaceship parts.
How did your trip go into Karl's hardware?
Small town. You see our friend Z took us to the boneyard. See our property manager Floyd, who just got us our new keys. Cashier knows us. There goes Z right now.
There he goes.
Because it is right after lunch, so everybody stops in at Karl's, gets what they need, back to work. Got spaceships to build.
Hi, Shadow.
All right, we're back. Not a product endorsement, just. Got all the things we needed. That's the beauty of Karl's hardware, right? I need a 5/8 inch in ID2 all day long. So, we're going to have a little action on this so we can get the nut to hold the tire on. This is what I was trying to attempt. What's our spacing going to be? We got 6.5. We got 6 on this side. And because that is off, double check on that one. Look at that. This is kind of where it gets weird. It's like, man, you could almost start over on this and re-engineer it from the beginning, you know, just make another hoop and start over. But like our body fits it, everything's there. You're never going to see this. So, I mean, that's prototype stuff. I said it before, but I just want to reiterate. That's the reason we're doing it this way. All right, so we're going to do 6 inches on that side. And we're going to do... I'm going to keep it a little bit long on both sides. Let's do 4 and 6 in this 5/8 tube. Everything's so clean.
We really don't know how to act today. This is really weird for me to be in a shop this size and it be clean. So weird. Okay. Hey everybody.
All right, I'm going to cut 2 1-inch pieces. Begin that truss. I wish I had the 1-inch square here, but I don't. Or do I? Got one that's round. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so I'll cut a 4 and a 6 of this. So what I'm starting to imagine here is, again, this truss shape. We're trying to keep the tires out as wide as possible. So I got this upright. That will bring us to the same distance as the bottom of this thing that we built. And then we can cross over with a tube under it with a vertical. I mean, is this super freaking complicated? Yes, it is. I mean, I don't have a 5/8 axle to go straight across. If we don't finish this on time, we're going to lose the shop. I'm going to tack these up separate, put them in place. That to that. Guess who didn't bring work gloves to work? Quite the arrangement here, but that's what we're working towards. Yeah, let's get that in place. So I'm going to cut that back a 1/2 inch up. Plenty of thread showing. Now, crossed with some kind of a spanner. Yeah, cool. Cool. Need 28 inches across. That'll be this one. This is good and strong, albeit a little rusty. Yeah, we got just enough to make 28. Yeah, perfect. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I mean, is it adding up, Jamie? Was what I'm doing here at all?
No.
So,
I get lost though.
okay, so let's discuss. If it was just an axle straight across, you would have a single tube spanning it, right? So you remember I cut this out mistakenly. So in the end, we're going to have 2 tubes creating this truss that holds the axles in the center of it.
And it'll make it stronger as well.
Similar to the beams in the shop. You see how there's a top and a bottom? And then there's so we're going to have similar to that. So this will be a round tube replacing this. So you see where we're going? And then we'll just have a little button right here. So the axles, I mean, is it a very, very, very busy arrangement? Yeah, I'm a very busy guy. Let me set this up, do that, tack it, then we're going to straighten the axles.
Go lay down. Go on. Go lay down. Good boy.
I have this lined up to there, to there. That's on the center, right there, right there. I'm going to tack it on the inside. still warm. I'm going to verify that. Index there. Correct. All right, so now I was talking about in the very beginning how the axles are doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So look at the space from behind. Now we have this really strong it's not a lot because we're only working with a short amount, but you see how this end has got a bigger space on both sides?
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to take a big clamp and I'm going to squeeze this. I'm going to force this axle down.
Now the question is, do you have a big clamp?
You know, I bet I could just push down on this. I could push down on it with that big tube that I bought. Because this should sleeve inside of this. Boom. Leverage. So I'm going to take this, set it up here. The only big clamp I have, albeit a rusty clamp. They followed through with what we need. Pour a little Red Bull on
We have
there.
Coca-Cola in there.
Takes rust off.
Ian and I don't drink a lot of soda, but that's ours.
Or Red Bull, but here we are
That's
on
our
day 748 of moving.
That's our special. That's what we treat ourselves with, is Coke and Red Bull. I don't mess with the Red Bull, but
I've been every day.
I like the
for like a week and
Celsius.
a half
It's
now.
better.
All right, so this thing is attached to the table, so I should be able to just put a big leverage bar. What I'm using for that is the 5/8, thanks to Karl's Junior Hardware. And I can put this on and push down, tag it weld. Look at that. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Just did it. Hopefully I didn't bend that axle. Nope, sure didn't. All right. So yeah, I'm just going to lever that down and weld it. I'm going to hit the top while I'm still leveraging it. All right. I'm going to flip the script, do that side. Now we're going to take a piece of tube and fill in this. That one. Correct. Look, I remembered to bring a marker.
Oh, wow.
Remember when I mentioned truss?
Truss or trust? Truss or trust?
T-R-U-S-S. All right, so is this exceptionally elaborate? Yes. Is it going to be super strong? Yes. Because now our axle, instead of just being 5/8, it's 2 inches to 4 or 5 inches. So this is not going to bend. I don't care who you are. I worked on a lot of prototype, one-of-a-kind stuff, and could you hash this out on a computer program and come up with a super clean, finished design before you started? Sure could. This is where we're at. So yeah, does it look strong to you?
Yes, it looks like my big butt could sit on it.
Perfect.
Best dogs ever. Good girl, Jenna.
All right, so the last part of the structure on this is this area here, because it does want to break like that. So I was thinking, and we do have our chains coming through. Strongest case scenario would be something that triangulated, you know, the lower portion here. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. It's all quite warm. So I think I'm going to put a tube, a cross brace behind the engine mount here. Now we're going to come in like that and then like that. So you put the engine in real quick and make sure we're not going to interfere with the tube. Here, I'm gonna put the engine in backwards to really get everybody mixed up on what we're doing. Nah, plenty of room. So we got 1 inch is what we're working with, correct? Yeah. Oh yeah, that'll finish off that motor plate nice also. So we come in here, tube that big. All right, now we're going to go from the center back And what looks very weak at first, just in design, you'll see once a few more braces are put in, it becomes quite stout. They're just like this. See how you have this massive grab? So, I mean, that's just kind of where we're at with that. We're going to go straight through to here like this. So we're going to have a 12 and an 1/8 inch piece. So you can see you're beginning to get some triangulation now. Once I connect this to this, you have a full hoop with an accessory back seat. So that's where it was all heading. This, simple terms, that ain't going nowhere. One little uprise right there. Got to be quite a bit smaller. Remember these. Alright, so excuse me for the lack of gloves. I'm going to finish up all the underside welding with gloves on. But I'll put the tires back on, and you can see now how this, it's never going to break off. It's triangulated. I mean, if I felt something else could go wrong, I mean, you could also come out here. I mean, it's unlimited as to how much reinforcement you can put in until you run out of space. Space. All right. So I would consider that to be very strong. I think part 763 of the mini bike kind of wraps up where we're at. We're going to finish, but I'm just going to go ahead and work on this. We'll touch up on this. We'll touch base with this as we're working on other things. We got the Cadillac on deck. We got the Zephyr on deck. Want to do some work on the steering on the Zephyr, and then more English wheeling on the Caddy.
Yay!
So yeah, no car gets left behind. We're on to the next.